Welcome to Navigating in Snap. In this video, we'll look at Snap's screen elements and how to navigate the interface. Snap is web-based and operates in an HTML environment. A single click takes you where you want to go. A word of caution: if you double-click, Snap counts it as 2 clicks, and you'll wind up a click past where you wanted to be. Snap uses persistent data, which means once something is set, like a search filter or widget layout, it remains in effect until changed. The same information will be in the same view the next time you log in. When you first log into Snap, you land here on the home page. It's made up of the header and 3 widgets. Snap's widgets are like having 3 mini screens that can be moved and resized for customized layouts. Widgets are likely to have page buttons at the bottom since often there's too much information to fit in the Widget Workspace. In the header, you'll see a Home button which returns you to the home page when you're working in a submission. When more than one submission has been viewed, the submissions drop-down list starts to build. This is another example of Snap's data persistence. It's a clickable list of all the submissions opened during the day. It's like a web browsing history just for Snap. When you open a submission, you're taken to the Submission Overview page. In some cases, you'll see an application page if there are missing required fields, the quote page if one exists, or the policy page for issued business. The submission drop-down list remains persistent until you log out. On the right side is the New Submission button, and like it's labeled, it starts a new submission. Continuing right, we have the Help icon. Always look here first if you have questions. The documentation is very good. If you can't find the answer here, check with your Snap Agency admin or your ICW underwriting team. Next to Help is the Chat icon, and it will be activated at a later date. The Notification icon is next. Clicking it reveals a list of submission notification cards. Clicking on the insured name in one of these notification cards takes you right to the submission. An orange notification bubble appears on the icon when there are new notifications. The last icon in the header is the Profile icon. It's where you can update profile information, add your photo, or change your password. Below the header are 3 widgets: the Submissions widget, the Tasks widget, and the Recent Activity widget. The area in a widget containing the information rows is the Widget Workspace. Display space within the Widget Workspace is limited, so make sure to use the scroll bar to view all the information rows and the page buttons to browse all the pages. The Submissions widget contains all the features the other widgets have, plus some additional ones, so let's start here. The bar across the top is the Widget Title Bar, and it has 3 key areas: the Starting Filter level, the Search icon, and the Settings gear. The Starting Filter level determines what information displays in the work area. For example, My Agency All displays all submissions for your agency. My Submissions All shows all submissions assigned to you, and My Submissions Active shows submissions assigned to you that are in active status only. The first time you log in, the filter level starts at My Agency Active. After that, the starting filter level becomes persistent, meaning the last filter level or custom filter used is what's active until changed, even when you log out and log back in. If you're not seeing the expected information in a workspace, make sure the starting filter level is broad enough to find what you need. Next to the starting filter level is the Search icon. When clicked, an area appears to enter the search's criteria. Snap's search and filter capabilities are very powerful, so much so that they're covered in depth in a dedicated video. For now, just know that searches are created using criteria. They can be saved for repeat use, and they persist, determining what information is displayed in the workspace. The last thing we need to cover in the widget title bar is the settings icon. Most of the settings are self-explanatory, but let's take a closer look at Configure Columns. This setting determines what columns display in the Widget's workspace and is in both the Submissions widget and the Tasks widget. Check to show, uncheck to hide. You'll notice the Insured column can't be unchecked. This column always displays in the Submissions workspace. Also, the column display in the Widget workspace is static, meaning you can't rearrange the column order. Depending on how a widget is sized, you'll need to use the left-right scroll bar to see all the columns, and the up-down scroll bar to see all the information rows. Clicking on a column's header sorts the column alphanumerically and highlights the column header in orange, indicating a sort is active. Remember, this sort is going to persist and affect what displays in the workspace. The status column is the exception to the rule. It sorts using workflow order, not alphanumeric order. Another option you might wonder about is Download CSV. It lets users download a .csv file of the information displayed for any searches or sorts. In most cases, you shouldn't need to use this function in your day-to-day work, but it's there if you need it. If we check out the Settings option for the Tasks widget, we'll see they're the same except for one addition: Bulk Update. Let's say an agency staff member is out on extended leave. Bulk Update can be used to distribute that team member's tasks, or the agency can use this function to bulk resolve tasks. A supervisor, producer, or CSR can perform these functions. Each of the three widgets has a workspace where content is displayed in information rows, and each widget looks and behaves similarly. When you mouse over a row in the Submissions or Tasks widget, the left side displays a blue hover indicator to help you visually identify the row you're working on. At the right end of each row in all three widgets are expand icons that reveal snapshot information about the submission, task, or activity. At the bottom of each workspace, you'll find the Page Browser buttons. Remember, widgets have limited space to show information and search results. Use these if you have multiple pages to browse. But if you have to look through multiple pages, you might want to consider being more specific with the search criteria. In any widget, when an information row is clicked, you're taken to the submission. These pages are made up of forms and are where you'll spend the majority of your time. All roads lead to a submissions overview page, as it were. Notice the header area has a new addition, the submission drop-down arrow. Snap's data persistence remembers all the submissions that have been visited during a session, and they're listed here. Use it to quickly access submissions you've already opened. Remember, Snap uses data persistence, so when you return to a submission, you'll land where you last were. This list starts as soon as the first submission is opened and persists until you log out. When you log back in, the cycle starts again. Submissions can be closed using the X if the list is starting to get too long. Below the header is the status bar. It contains the status summary, which is a quick reference showing the submission status, reason for being in that status, and any other pertinent status information. Next to the status bar are process breadcrumbs. These are not clickable and serve as a visual indicator of where a submission is in the overall process. On the right side, you'll find the workflow buttons. The actions associated with these buttons change depending on what phase of the process a submission is in. Typically, they let you revert to the previous step or perform the next step in the process. Next to the workflow buttons is the Actions button. This button contains the actions you can perform on a submission, including modifying the submission or copying a quote. The options are based on where a submission is in the process. The last icon on the right is the collaboration icon. This is an important tool you'll use often, and it will be covered in depth in a dedicated video. But for now, know that it's where all collaboration on a submission, like emails, attachments, notes, and tasks, are created and searched for. On the left side of the screen is the left navigation. It contains page links, expanded icons, sublinks, and required field indicators. All of the elements are clickable, and you can use the required field indicators to go directly to the fields that need completion. These indicators count down the number of fields needing to be completed. The collapse arrow at the bottom acts as expected. It hides or shows the left navigation is needed. In the center of the screen is the data entry area of Snap called the Workspace. It uses common data entry elements like fields, drop-downs, and checkboxes. Since Snap is HTML-based, you can use the Tab key to quickly move between fields, or Ctrl+F to quickly find text in the forms. You can also copy and paste between fields and forms in Snap. And if it can, Snap will autofill data. One thing to note, sometimes you'll see a No icon when you hover over a field you want to copy. Don't let it throw you. The No icon means you can't change the contents of the field, but you can still copy it. Overall, Snap behaves similar to the web pages you're already comfortable using. Transfer those click and navigation principles to Snap, and you should have little problem moving around the interface. Make sure to watch the other videos about Snap's features. In them, we detail how to search and filter in Snap, how to use the collaboration tool, uploading from an Accord app, pre-qualify and check clearance, preparing renewals, and instant quote. We hope this video answered your questions. If you still need assistance, we're happy to help. See our Snap resource area for additional videos and guides at icwgroup.com/snap, or simply call your ICW Group Business Development Underwriter. Thanks for watching.